Right, how's it going out there, everybody? I am back to do a custom request for. Who's this for? K Palmer. I found this request interesting. It's different than the others that I usually get. K Palmer wants to know. Well, first, she's a Taurus. I believe it's a she. She's a Taurus. K Palmer's a Taurus. Becoming friends with the Sagittarius, and they want to know about the Sagittarius because they're roommates. And you know, at once upon a time they found once upon a time they experienced some distance, and there was not a clear understanding of whether or not they were friends. Now she feels like they're becoming friends or whatever the case may be. And however, she still wants some insight onto, how does this thing really work? Like how can you look at the whole Sagittarius thing, right? And I'm gonna tell you like this. Sagittarius are not really your friends. All right, Sagittarius you're a moment in time to them. You're a moment. You're still a person, right? However, you're in the moment for them. So it's whatever you are to them in that moment that determines the relationship. This is not something that is static. All right, Sagittarius is a dynamic energy. So what I mean by that is just because you get along one day, it doesn't mean you're going to get along the next day. There is nothing that can concretely say that this Sagittarius is your friend. Right? But I'm giving you pure, raw experiences with Sagittarius people. And this is how they operate. Now, when they're in the room, see, they have like a God complex. That's pretty much what I'm saying. This is where I need to start, where I need to begin. They have like this God complex, okay, that says, not only do I see the bigger picture, I am the bigger picture. So when I relate to other people, I'm actually the nucleus of the bigger picture. And if they don't see that, it is not if they don't see it, it's they need to see that. So you being the friend, right? You being the roommate Taurus, you need to see their bigger picture way of things. And they may slide it in what they mean by that by being jovial, right? By being lively. They're lively people, and they know when they enter a room, like they feel like it's all about them. That God complex becomes shining, or whatever the case may be. Now, as I said, the mutable energy makes them be momentarily in their element. So that's where the relationship builds. That's where the relationship strengthens. And when that, or if it dissipates, then the relationship is over. You understand what I'm saying? Sure, it can happen again. You may experience this lively, great experience with your Sagittarius person, but it's not a friendship. It's something that's in the moment. I hope I'm saying this correctly, but this is my best way of describing this, right? Like this is why, sometimes you can get Sagittarius, you hear like they're the flaky sign, because it's like they feel that they bring such greatness to the table. And as I said, this God complex, that they're like, oh, I really got to come out and play with the humans. Like, this is how they think behind closed doors, right? And they will not say this to you. Like, this is something you have to come up with your own, right? This is something that I came up with through my own experiences. Like, oh, you feel like you got to come out with the humans and play today, because there's been numerous accounts to where Sagittarius people were like, they did not necessarily want to be around me or be around a group. And I'm not saying this because I'm hurt or anything. Like, trust me when I tell you, right? I was just as popular as any Sagittarius person I know. Still am. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you the raw facts that I'd be like, oh, you act like you don't want to come around here with us. Like, you really think you're all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and which is cool, right? For a singular entity to have confidence. So confident wise, you may be like, okay, well, that's great. And it can also encourage other people around them to become this enthusiastic person. But that overly, like if you pinpoint something, like let's say you're an analytical sign or something, and you see something that is flawed or error, then you just be like, I don't want to associate myself with that. The Sagittarius becomes they look at you in a funny way because you don't resonate with their bigger picture anymore. So it's like, all right, I'm out of here. Like, they will leave. The mutable energy, they will take off, they will leave, they will find other people who are with the bigger picture. They are a fleeting energy. It's a fleeting sign. It's built on fire. They're on a pursuit for something. It does not necessarily pertain to you, and it won't pertain to you 24/7. right? And they're quick. So it's just like, oh, we gotta wait for you to get your stuff together. Like they're, like I said, they're real in the moment people. So if you drop the ball with them at any time, they're like as I said, they may not say it to you, but a lot of them will not directly all the time say it to you, but will say something that is blunt. They get the rap for being blunt, right? And it's their honesty. Just because you're blunt doesn't mean it's the overall absolute truth. It'll be their honesty seeping out, and then you may look at them in an awkward way, like, okay, you didn't say the exact words what I think you wanted to say, but now I'm starting to think like that's how you think. And low key, Sagittarius suffers from depression. And I say low key is because they will not let you see them sweat. Like they are not open to talk about that type of stuff unless it's like so far down the line that they're so well off to the public eye that they'll say, okay, well now I can sit down and I can talk about this stuff. Because I'm telling you, they have this better than complex, this God complex rather, and this is why they low key suffer from depression, because they start understanding along the journey that, oh, you know what, I can fall. I can suffer some losses. I am somewhat like these people. And not only that, I can come to a place of suffering that is below the lowest of people, societal wise. You understand what I'm talking about? Like people who are in poverty or something like that. This is also why you can see Sagittarius in teaching jobs, of sharing the knowledge that they've learned along the way, because they've come to this understanding. What they learn is they learn from that bluntness, that sharp mouth, that sharp tongue that they've used on people to like ridicule them or make them feel bad in certain situations. And they can do this to show off as well, just because they're that lively person in the room who has to have this energy flowing, right? They're great when it comes to audiences and crowds and stuff like that, right? You see the fire energy coming through. However, not saying that karma is going to directly affect them based upon the person that they may have hurt. However, it will come back to them in a way that it teaches them, because as they quest for knowledge, without them being considerate of the smaller things in life, knowledge repays them in karma by teaching them a lesson. So later on in life, this is why they're able to do these teaching things. This is also why you may find them in they may be in foster care. They may help disabled children. They may set up charities to help runaway kids or something like that. And it's kind of like a what do you call that? Like they feel guilty. Like they're guilt prone to the way they have looked downward or looked funny at other people, pretty much is what I'm saying. And it's like a guilty complex. It's like, okay, this is how I repay back my mentality that I have secretly now. I'm telling you, these Sagittarius, they operate secretly, man, because they have an agenda. And as I said, back to you, right? I'm giving a description of Sagittarius, right? But back to you. The reason why you probably did not feel the togetherness or whether or not you guys were friends is because you're in an enclosed environment. And that is just not Sagittarius people's style, period. All right, so as y'all are roommates, from my understanding, right, it probably means that the Sagittarius is on a quest to develop and become better in life so they can have the freedom, right, keyword here, freedom, to move about and around how they want without no restraints. They must be free eventually. So when they're in this enclosed space, they're already scheming on their next move, on how they're going to get ahead to be able to have that type of freedom. And being around you may not be the best tool for them to develop and put those things together. Now, as I said, if you are beneficial to their agenda and to their plan, you're awesome, right? I've seen let me just use a small example. If they like a TV show and they come in the living room and they turn it on and oh, you mind if I turn this on? Because y'all roommates, right? Say, nah. And then you be like, oh, I like this show. They're like, oh, you do? Now y'all clicking like Dorothy Hills, right? So you'll be like, oh, okay, this is my friend. No, you're not. You're in the moment because it's 6 p.m. and their favorite show comes on, and you both agree that you like their favorite show. All right? So when it goes off, or if you want to turn the channel to something else, it's not your friend. You understand what I'm saying? I know this sounds kind of wicked. I'm telling you though, right? And shout out to my Sagittarius people, right? But at the same time, I had to learn myself, Sagittarius people are not your friends. right? Now, if you are the traveling type, and this is why I say that, like when you're in an enclosed space, right? Because some of my Sagittarius people, they are great at waking up, and this is how I know enclosed places are not their thing. They are great at waking up and saying, you know what, I feel this type of stress coming over me. They can have quick tempers too, so they be like, yo, listen, we got to get out of here. Like, let's go out. Like, I want to go over here. Like, and I mean traveling off out of your neighborhood, out of your immediate neighborhood, whether that means train, bus, plane, wherever. It could be in a stranger's land. Like, let's get up and let's go. And this is where you have fun. Again, you have fun. You look at this person, you like, yo, you see some things in yourself that you don't necessarily possess, and you're like, yo, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? They're showing you something, like bringing you out of the environment, bringing you out of your element, but this is their raw element. You understand what I'm talking about? So you can have fun along these travels. However, understand that this is how these people operate. This is when they're in their element. This is when they're in their best space of mind. So you will experience the heights of a potential friendship, right? Or what you hear about in friendships and things like that nature. However, this is not a friendship because it's a fleeting moment, right? When you hear about friendships, you hear about people who are there for you, you know, not necessarily when you're down. Like your friend, your best friend will be like, you know, don't stay down, you know, pull yourself up, even if they gotta rebuke you and say, you know what, I'm not gonna put up with this with you today. You know what I'm saying? Because you was like this last week, and I told you last week to do this, that, and the third, and you still not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So a Sagittarius, they'll pull you out of that rut. However, it won't be your best element. You know what I'm saying? It will pertain to them. But a true friend is gonna pull you out of your rut and build you upon your element, upon your strong qualities that you are choosing to ignore because you're choosing other things to involve yourself with. You understand what I'm talking about? So it's like, this is what you gotta understand. It's a fleeting moment. Being enclosed in an enclosed area is not their natural element, and I tell you this from experience as well. Another way that I can attest to this is because I've seen Sagittarius when they're home, right? You think this is a relaxing place for them, but they're running around. They're either cleaning the house, they're doing laundry. You know, this is chores and stuff, right? But they do this more than the average person does. For some reason, I always see them doing some type of chore. If they're not, they're on the phone. So the immediate people who are there, no, they want to talk to the people who are about their agenda, or the people who are going to make them feeling optimistic about themselves and upbeat about themselves, which is not a bad trait. It's not. Even if they're ignoring some of the stuff that and I'm telling you, it's probably because they are low-key depressants that they're like want to avoid that at all costs. So they're like talking to the people who they deem to be the people who make them feel bubbly inside. You know, and you know, despite whatever, you know, you get in the comment box and say, oh, you know, I got Sagittarius as my best friend and this and that. Okay, you know, I tell y'all, right, this channel is largely based on constructivism. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still have Sagittarius people that I think are dear to me. However, like I said, to me, I won't bet on that. Like, oh yeah, they're my friend. Like, I won't do that, you know, from my experiences. So there you go, Taurus. There you have it. I know you're keen on friendships and close relationships, so I hope that this helps. At least you'll be able to tolerate and pinpoint things that if you see something and it seems off, this is potentially why. Because Sagittarius operate on a free-spirited type of domain. They are they have a God complex. They believe in the bigger picture. How do you add on to it? You don't. Deuces, or in some type of way. They might not say it to your face, or some of them are very blunt, they'll say it to your face. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, hope this helps. I'm out.